year, why not central government? And one additional requirement, we need to mention total turnover for the current year as well as the preceding year. Earlier, in fact, in the old 3CD, there was this particular one more annexer to the annexer, because 3CD itself is an annexer, and there was, I think, part 2 in that particular format where we need to give information for preceding year as well as current year. They used to ask 4 or 5 information out of the balance sheet, total of the balance sheet, loans, secured, unsecured, current liabilities, then turnover, interest paid, interest received, commission paid, depreciation, income tax paid. That particular part of that 3CD has been dispensed with. Now we need not give that information, but only in the second last clause we need to mention the turnover of the preceding year and ratios for current year as well as the preceding year. In case of first year tax audit, again it might create some difficulty. I have not practically verified whether the schema accepts it without that zero, whether we can put zero ratio in that or not. I don't know. Actually, I have not conducted any tax audit till now in current year. Last one is an additional clause. Details of demand raised or refund issued under any tax laws other than Income Tax Act. CBDT has been kind enough to introduce this one particular word, tax, in between the two words, any laws. Otherwise, they would have perhaps asked us details of demand raised under any law. But they have been kind enough that restricted the tax auditor to comment only on tax laws, but this says any tax laws other than Income Tax Act and Wealth Tax Act. Surprisingly, they are not asking about wealth tax demand, which is legislated by CBDT only, which is implemented by CBDT only, but they are not asking because wealth tax is almost a dying legislation. Very few assessees are liable to wealth tax, and therefore perhaps they are not asking. But again, this will be a very difficult exercise for the tax auditor to gather information about demand raised or refund issued under all the tax laws other than income tax, be it VAT, be it service tax, be it excise, custom, etc., along with details of relevant proceedings are required to be reported. So demand arose out of which proceeding, refund arose out of which proceeding, that information auditor needs to comply and give. This is the last clause of 3CD. I think they are going to make this presentation available on the website. At the end of this website, I have given a comparative position. The first column gives the old clause number, second column gives the new clause number corresponding to the old one, and there are certain new clauses inserted for which there was no preceding clause in the last year. The last 3-4 slides deal with this. With this, I end up with my small presentation on changes in 3CD. If there are any questions, I would welcome. Thank you very much. Question answer cumulatively? Okay. So we now go to the second part. Before we analyze the judgment or before we discuss this controversy, let me clarify certain misconceptions about what has been prevailing. When this judgment was delivered on 20th of August by Mumbai Tribunal in case of Rajiv Kalathil, I think that day I was not in town, and before I could see that judgment was spreading like fire. I received many messages, many Facebook updates, many WhatsApp messages that some decision has come. The matter was on 6th of August, and normally in 2 or 3 weeks the decision of the ITAT comes on the website, and in 2-3 days it gets delivered to the assessee also. 6th of August was the hearing, 20th of August the judgment was put up on the website, and by 21st it spread like fire. Not only among professional communities but also among the trading communities, everybody the concerned parties, I would say, and professionals till extent it is understandable. Some professionals are matured enough, but trading community thought like that now, they have nothing to fear about. As if some constitutional amendment has come out, or something like an amnesty has come out. So let me clarify certain things. That Income Tax Appellate Tribunal is a fact-finding authority, and judgment of favorable comes, obviously it is a welcome step. And because there are so many stakes involved and so many people affected by this, and then majority of the cases are still lying at assessment stage. Even 910 I think last year got completed, some are at CIT appeal stage. Very few have reached the tribunal. I was fortunate enough perhaps that only my matter in this controversy came up for the first. I was fortunate enough to argue it. Assessee was fortunate enough that judgment came in favor. And because there are so many people affected, that Hindi कहावत है डूबते को तिनके का सहारा, बोलो कुछ तो आया है फेवर में, and therefore it spread like anything. But let me clarify that judgments are delivered based on certain facts, peculiar facts and circumstances of each case, and because the stakes involved are so high, and considering our practical experience with the department, this judgment is not going to be very frank, is not going to help in any way, at least at lower stages. Because at lower stage, they don't even consider High Court or Supreme Court judgment. Because assessing officer is the only creature on earth who has power wider than Supreme Court. And perhaps it is, we should not say it, but perhaps it is good in one way. Actually it is bad for the society, but for professional it is good that they are having such an attitude. So they are not going to listen to anything, but still we need to analyze this judgment, we need to understand what was the factual background, and then we have to develop our case from the inception itself, but being prepared that this will go upper level for the appellate stage. And I would in fact rather advise that where the stakes are particularly large, and those who are not into appeal practice, those who are appearing only at assessment stage, they should rather understand the decision, and right now also they should consult somebody who is appearing at appellate stage, hand over the matter to him, educate the client also that what is the controversy prevailing, what is the attitude of the department. See what will happen if somebody matter are going to reach appellate stage और ये अभी एक judgment आया है सैकड़ों आने वाले हैं. The kind of reassessment which are going on, we all are aware. So if we are aware and we educate the client that at till what level we are going to find, and if we find a person who is going to represent our case at later stage, if we involve that particular person at the inception only, he might not go and appear at the assessment stage, but if he gives a certain guideline as to how we have to develop our case, that will help us a long way in the further litigations to come. Because when we appear in CIT appeal at tribunal level, we do not do any miracle. Miracle in fact is done at assessment stage only. What we do is only a polishing or a fine tuning of what has been done. Or if there has been some defects has been done at assessment stage, we try to rectify it. But higher the defects, very difficult to rectify. For example, some evidence is not submitted at assessment stage. Then though there are provisions in the law to submit additional evidence, but then law will take its own course. If additional evidence is submitted, it will go to the assessing officer for remand. They might object why it was not presented earlier, etc., etc., etc. So if we understand the judgment in the correct perspective as to what was the submission at the earlier stage, how we should develop the stage, if not at assessment stage, then perhaps at the appellate stage we will be having a good case to defend ourselves. I was fortunate in this, though I am getting the credit for this particular judgment because I happen to be arguing this particular case. I much appreciate and acknowledge from this stage that this foundation for this work was done by my very dear good friend from Vashi, C.A. Satish Shanbhag, who appeared at CIT appeal, and in this case CIT appeal was in favor, this was a departmental appeal. CIT appeal had already given a favorable ruling in favor of the assessee. This was assessee, it was not an assessee's appeal, it was department's appeal in case of Rajiv Galatil case. So what I did in tribunal was only I fine-tuned or I did a touch up on the building or the painting which has been done by my dear friend at CIT appeal stage. So I try to, first of all, I am trying to convince that same message, they try to build up your case from the inception, that if you spoil the case like haywire at the inception stage, the person who is going to appear at higher level is not a magician, he cannot also help you perhaps. So try to understand the judgment, what was the factual background. There are certain aspects of this judgment which I would like to bring to your notice that might perhaps go against you. So you firstly analyze your case in factual background, what was the factual background of this case, and then only you decide whether you want to rely on this judgment or not. In fact, whether you rely or not, the judgment is spread like anything. With every assessing officer also the judgment is lying. But still, before relying on that, try to understand the factual position. Briefly, if I explain what were the arguments in this case, what we had submitted at assessment stage as well as CIT appeal stage, copies of bills. Obviously, everybody is having this. The argument was supplier are having a VAT registration number, the ledger account of that parties in our books, payment was made by checks, and a certificate was obtained from the banker giving details of check payment to the suppliers. Now, how this certificate helps us? See, if in our books of account, the ledger of the party is there, in our books of account entries there, we made the payment by bank. In our bank statement also it gets reflected that so and so particular check has been issued. The problem arises in this, certain problems like cross verification. That person, if the department issues 133.6 to that person might not turn up. Either 133.6 goes unserved, or even if it is served, that person doesn't appear before the assessing officer. If we give a banker certificate, amount reflected in our bank statement is a proof that this check has got cleared. But banker gives an additional evidence that this was particularly an account pay check, and this check was cleared in the name of so and so person, to whom we are alleging that it has been paid. If that has been done, now the onus shifts to the assessing officer. Let's see, that person is also there. If he has obtained a bank account number, if I made a payment to Mr. XYZ by an account pay check, that means he has opened an account with a bank. And you all are aware, opening a bank account in today's scenario is also a very difficult task. There are various KYC compliance which has to be done. So if that person has a bank account, that means he has complied with KYC. So it is not a case that there is some fictional entity to which I am making a payment. That person might not be traceable today, but on one day he was traceable, that's why he opened a bank account. He complied with the KYC of the bank. Bank has verified that. Secondly, that person is registered with the VAT department. We are aware when we go for obtaining a VAT registration, what are the documentary evidences required for place of business, place of residence, etc. That person has given that registration, that details, then only it has been registered by the VAT department. So it's not a case of taking out a purchase bill out of air. If at least that person is registered with the VAT department, that means, and he is having a bank account, there are two agencies who have verified at least that the person exists. Bankers have verified, VAT department has verified that the thing exists. Secondly, fortunately in our case we had transportation receipts, copies of consignment bills. And in this case of Rajiv Gulati, this was not a case of trader. It was a case of not exactly manufacturing, you can say a sort of civil contractor. Some pipeline from Chennai port to some interior area, very big project for a listed company was to be done. And during that course, that material was purchased from that alleged Hawala dealers. So that copy of consignment note was also there. Some part of material was lying in the closing shop. The typical problem in assessment is they'll ask for whether you have stock details. And generally we do not have a stock details. Or even if